Don't pass up a great piece of furniture just because it's a loaner. I'm going to show you how to pair it up with another buddy so you can sell it faster and for more money. I found this Drexel nightstand at Restore quite a while ago, and it did have a little damage on the bottom, but I knew I could fix that, and I just wanted to hang on to it until I found it the perfect partner, which I finally did. Whenever I'm looking for pieces to pair up together, I look for a couple things. One, the overall size and the shape, and then just want to look at the style, of course, but also the details. So, for instance, this one on the right is the one I got first, and I was looking for one that had the same kind of shape of the two sets of rectangles on it, and ones that are indented rather than protruding out. So that's what I was looking for, and I finally found the perfect one. Even though that bottom drawer is different, once they're painted and have the same hardware, it's going to look great together. This one on the left is made by Drew, another quality furniture maker, and it did have another piece on the base of it, and so we just took it off so it had that more straight line like the Drexel piece. I use Bondo for this, and it's a two-part that you mix together. One thing to note though is that it does dry really quickly, so you can't mix up a ton of it at once, otherwise it'll harden before you even get it on there. So just do a little bit at a time and you'll be good. But you can use any kind of spreader or spatula or putty knife, or I just use these little craft sticks because then I can just toss it because it hardens on there, and I don't know or don't want to mess with trying to get it off. So I just use disposable. I've not tried any dark blue pieces, so that's what I wanted to use on these. They just kind of have a masculine look to me, so I wanted to go with a deep dark blue. And this is Early Traditions Mediterranean, and then I just added some of the Iron Gate, which is a true black, to deepen that color. Next, I cleaned up the pieces with Early Traditions Surface Prep Clean Wipes, which cleans and also slightly edges the surface, getting it ready for the paint. In my garage or even outside, I was getting so many things floating around in the air and bugs, little tiny bugs landing on my pieces while they were still wet, so I decided to go ahead and get a spray tent, which is kind of very handy. The paint I use most often is Heirloom Traditions all-in-one paint, which means it has primer and top coat built in. So I usually go ahead and spray on the first coat or brush it on or whatever I'm going to do, but in this case spray it on first, and then it just makes it easier to see any places that need some wood filler. So if I see some obvious ones beforehand, I might go ahead and do it, or you can see I filled in the holes from the old hardware first, but typically we'll go ahead and do a coat first and then fill in anything that needs filling. I try to use my sprayer as much as I can because I just feel it gives the best finish. But I'm still using the original one that I bought that was, I believe, $49, so you don't have to go out and get a fancy sprayer to get a good result. And I'll put the link to the one that I use in the comments. Okay, so there was way more texture visible on the one nightstand versus the other, hence the reason for all the fill-ins. So for whatever reason, and unfortunately, all the patching I did on this nightstand is visible even after painting. So I'm gonna try to sand it down a little. I have barely any paint left, but I'm gonna mix a little bit of paint with my top coat and see if that doesn't hide all that, but we'll see. This was one of the cases where I mixed up a color and did not measure and did not have as much as I thought I did. So if mixing paint, what little paint, like drops of paint that I had left with my top coat didn't work to hide this, I had already started thinking of my plan B. Do I try to sand them down and stain them? Do I do a faux wood top? Do I paint them black on the top? Or completely have to redo the whole set? I got lucky this time and it actually looked great once finished, so avoided having to redo these. I made sure the insides were nice and clean, and then I used one of the Dixie Belle waxes that I used to recondition the drawers, just depending on if the glides are made out of metal or wood. So if they're wood, I'll go ahead and use this on those as well. But also the sides of the drawers, they're usually pretty dried out, and I use the ones that have a nice scent. So if they do have any kind of odor, this will help with that too. I chose a nice neutral wallpaper for the drawer liners, and you can find tons of these on Amazon or even sometimes Walmart or dollar stores, but they just make it look so fresh and clean, and it's just a nice little design touch you can add. I am in love with this hardware that I found, and I bought it to use on my own personal dresser, but I just thought that especially the small handle the shape of it was perfect for these nightstands. So I splurged on these. They were a little expensive, so I won't probably be using them on very many other flips, but they just feel so good in your hand. And I don't know if you can see the detail in the video, but they have this little indentation around the edges, and they're just very heavy and high quality, and I just love them. A stencil is a must for getting your hardware on evenly and in the same place on each drawer. So whether you purchase one like this or you make one out of cardboard or paper or whatever, I definitely recommend using a stencil, which even when I do use them, sometimes they still don't come out with perfect placement, but it is a huge help for sure. The color of these handles is the other thing I'm obsessed with, which is a champagne bronze. It just looks really, really nice with the dark paint color. After that, I had a little bit more sanding to do from where I had filled the original hardware holes. And this small little detail sander is really handy for getting into tight spaces. So if you don't have one of these and you're looking to add to your collection, check them out. So here's a reminder of the before and then the after. I'm super happy with the way they turned out, and to my surprise, going with the dark blue was the right choice because I got probably more messages than any of my other pieces that I sell on Facebook Marketplace and sold them within 2 days. So I will definitely be doing more furniture in this color. And I have a couple other videos on how to make mismatched pieces go together that you can check out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.